The crisp sound of my glasses hitting the marble floor echoed sharply, its clarity almost mocking the searing pain of the slap that came next. Countless eyes turned toward me, the room heavy with stunned silence. My wife's mother stood rigid, her breathing uneven, hands trembling as though she couldn't believe what she'd done. My cheek burned in the quiet that followed, yet I held my composure, choosing not to respond with venom or fury. Instead, I turned and walked away, each step measured, the polished tiles amplifying my exit as whispers followed like faint echoes. Outside, beneath the tranquil night sky, I pulled out my phone and dialed a number I'd reserved for this precise moment. A man's voice answered, brisk and prepared. "Now," I said, and he knew exactly what I meant. Within an hour, he would enter that reception, and when her mother saw him, her scream would cut through the room like someone facing a ghost from their past. I had joined their family believing I'd found a sanctuary of affection. They appeared close, with their Sunday gatherings filled with hearty laughter and toasts to togetherness. I thought I was embraced, perhaps merely tolerated. My wife insisted her parents adored me, and I played along, smiling through their subtle jabs about my background, my wealth, my ambition. The clues were there, but I ignored them for her. Their demands, never mere requests, for favors, their casual assumptions about my penthouse, my car, my resources, as if they were rightfully theirs. I let it slide for the woman I thought loved me more than she sought their approval. But I learned that love in their world came with a cost, defined not by who I was but by what I could provide. The first crack appeared 6 months prior. I overheard her mother on a call, her tone smug and unguarded, speaking of my penthouse as if it were already in their grasp. "He'll hand it over," she said with unwavering confidence. "He's soft, and if he pushes back, we'll make sure he complies." Her words were calculated, rehearsed. That same week, my wife began slipping questions into our conversations, about property deeds, my will, what would happen if I were no longer around, veiled in sweetness but unmistakably suspicious. I started connecting past moments, subtle hints I'd dismissed. A chilling pattern took shape, cutting deeper than any physical wound. It wasn't just greed, it was their conviction that they deserved everything I had. They didn't see me as family, they saw my assets. And my wife, my partner, my trusted confidant, was part of their scheme. So I cast aside my vulnerability. Quietly, I placed my penthouse in an unassailable trust, out of their reach. I shifted assets, consulted lawyers, and secured every detail under my command. My wife remained oblivious, believing her gentle prodding had me deceived. Meanwhile, I collected proof, bank transactions, emails, recordings of her parents' careless plotting. Their overconfidence became my weapon. They never suspected I'd turn the tables. But I didn't just protect myself. I crafted a calculated strike, sharp and ruinous, aimed at their core. A family obsessed with image would collapse when unmasked. The wedding was their grand performance, lavish ballroom, sparkling chandeliers, cameras capturing every staged moment. Surrounded by their social circle, they felt invincible, which made it the perfect moment to dismantle them. When her parents cornered me near the buffet, their demand was no surprise. "Give us the penthouse keys," her father ordered, his tone a decree, not a request. My refusal hung briefly in the air before her mother's hand struck my face. Gasps filled the room, phones were raised, cameras clicked. They thought public humiliation would crush me. They were mistaken. I left calmly, a man setting fire to a carefully laid plan. Exactly 1 hour later, I stood outside, watching through the glass doors as the man I'd summoned entered. No wedding attire for him, just a dark suit, briefcase in hand, his expression resolute. He approached the DJ booth, handed over a flash drive, and the music halted. Screens flickered to life, heads turned, and the truth poured out. Emails, voice recordings, bank records, and photos loomed over the dance floor. My wife's parents, chuckling about how easily they'd manipulated me. My wife's voice, gentle but cunning, probing into my finances. Her mother bragging to a friend, "He's nothing but a walking fortune." The room froze. Whispers turned to gasps, then a suffocating hush. Her father yelled denials. Her mother rushed the booth, shrieking at the man with the briefcase. When her own voice echoed back, gloating, malicious, she screamed again, not in anger but in dread, realizing who had orchestrated their ruin. My wife found me at the entrance, her face pale beneath her makeup, eyes wide with shock. "You did this," she whispered. I remained silent. The evidence still played behind her, her parents unraveling as guests recorded their downfall. Their empire of pretense collapsed in moments. She reached for me. I stepped back. The distance between us said everything. "You chose them," I said, my voice steady, unshaken. "Now stay with them." The police arrived, called by some panicked relative, as her parents crumbled. Fraud, tax evasion, theft, all exposed in the files I'd supplied. I didn't need to press charges. The state would take over. Guests scattered like witnesses to a catastrophe, which it was. By the end of the night, her parents were no longer hosts but suspects, humiliated, unmasked, destroyed. My wife was caught in the wreckage, having chosen her allegiance long before. I didn't return to the reception. There was no need. My retribution wasn't loud. It was surgical, a single, perfectly executed blow that reduced their world to ashes. Back in my penthouse, I sat in silence, pouring a drink as the city sparkled below, mine and untouchable. No guilt, no regret, only a sharp, cold clarity. They'd struck me before dozens of witnesses, tried to strip me of dignity and property. I'd torn away their facades in return. Betrayal blinds you to the other's weapon, and theirs was blunt compared to mine. When it was over, their screams still echoing in my thoughts, I felt a profound freedom. I hadn't lost a family, I'd cut out a toxin. That night, I slept undisturbed.